Coach.
Yeah, good to win. Thought our guys played well, especially in the second half. We didn't do a real good job offensively of being patient in the first half. I think we've been a kind of a big play offense up until this point, and sometimes when you're not getting those big plays because of the scheme and what they're doing a little bit, you try to force some things. I thought Shane forced a couple of throws. First half threw a couple of picks, and then I thought once our offensive line settled in and Shane settled in, we played a lot better in the second half. We had a couple of big plays and warmed down a little bit running the ball. And, we talked to our guys all week. We thought it was going to have to be kind of an ugly win. They were just going to force us to run it. And, I thought we did a pretty good job, particularly in the second half of doing that. And then, drew the safeties up and made a couple of plays over the top. So, it was a good win. I think, Texas State, boy, they're playing hard. I mean, Jake's got those guys really playing hard. I'm impressed with their scheme, what they're doing. And thought we played well enough to be able to win the game. So I was encouraged by that.
What made you want to go to TJ?
Well, it's one of those things. He just practiced at such a high level. He just does everything right, and usually as a football player, the guys that do things right kind of get rewarded for it. And he's been on the scout team practicing at such a high level. I just last week, thought about trying to play him some last week, but we hadn't really prepared, during the week to do it. So we, put him over there, took him off the scout team this week, and we featured him on some special teams. He got a lot of reps on teams and got some carries. And when he got in there, really produced. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think he averaged 20 yards a carry on 8 carries, and so. Not surprised, really, honestly. He's a good football player, and like I said, does things the right way.
Do you think maybe he forced your hand a little bit to get some playing time going forward in bigger games?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, we're going to play the guys that play well. You know what I mean? And I think it's a great lesson for our players and football players in general, people everywhere, I guess. For me and everybody, just the fact that. I think coming out of fall camp, we thought, well, we'll redshirt him and let him, get it bigger and stronger and faster. And he just kept improving and getting better when he was on the scout team. And, you just had a feeling that if he got some carries in a game that, he was going to do a good job, and thought he did tonight. And, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I thought all the backs ran hard. I mean, Xavier, had another good game, ran for over 100 yards as well. And so, and I thought Kamen ran hard, particularly at the end of the game. And so I'm encouraged by those guys. We had 3 turnovers tonight. We can't afford to turn the ball over. I mean, that's the one thing we've got to get fixed. And we're still having extra point woes. I mean, we're the worst team in college football kicking extra points. I mean, we've got to be like maybe in history of college football. So we just got to get that fixed. Otherwise it's gonna cost us a ball game. And so. We're going to work really hard this week to get those things cleaned up and addressed. And usually you don't win a game when you lose a turnover battle. And we were fortunate tonight that we were able to win the game, even though we turned it over 3 times.
With that kicking problem, do you feel like you're confident at all to be able to send a kicker out there in any situation?
Well, the problem we've had is we had some snaps that were bad early. There's a lot of things that go into that. Kevin Robletto's been injured. So he hasn't really kicked healthy in a couple of weeks. So we have some other guys that we're pretty confident in, but we had snaps that were a problem early. Then we played Arkansas State, and they started jumping over our linemen. We try to keep our guys really low, and that's what's happened. That's flashing in front of our kicker, and it's distracting because you got a guy running free right at you. And so we just got to get all that stuff cleaned up. Our snaps are better. We haven't had issues with our snaps here in the last 2 ball games. And now we got to make the things, and part of it is we've got to do a better job up front of not letting them jump over us on the front line. That's kind of what's happening. That's what happened when we got the one blocked, and the guy jumped again and flashed right in front of Kevin's face, and he missed the kick. So or in front of Hogan's face rather, he missed the kick. So we got to do a better job of that.
What have you seen from Shane through the first 3 games, and what does he need to improve on?
Well, I think this was good for him tonight. To have an ugly ball game, you know what I mean? And sometimes, your job as a quarterback is to figure out how to win the game. you know, and I think I'm the world's worst about it. I mean, I want to throw for 500 yards every game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, 500 yards is a good game passing. And, you know, and that's not always the best, the truth. You know, the quarterback's first job is to help his football team win. And I think that, you know, we're going to see drop 8. I mean, it's kind of the new thing. It's like the air raid was about 15 years ago. Everybody's starting to incorporate part of it. And so, you know, these guys major in it and they do it well. You know, Iowa State did it a couple of years ago against Oklahoma and beat those guys, and now it's kind of been the rage that everybody started doing. And so when they do that, you got to run the ball effectively. You know, you have to string together, you know, a 15-play drive instead of scoring on a 60-yard touchdown pass. And you got to be a team that's well enough equipped to do that. You got to be disciplined enough not to have a holding penalty or have a false start, or you know, your backs have to be disciplined to run downhill and not have any negative plays on first or second down. And you know, you're going to have to go for it some on fourth down and short. I mean, it just changes the way you call the game. And so, you know, I think early in the game, you know, everybody was impatient. I certainly was. I thought Rhett actually did a good job calling the game, but Shane forced a couple of throws, and it was a good lesson for us, and we'll learn from it. And you know, and he'll play better next time he sees it.
Playing a team that came into tonight with 2 losses, how worried were you about guys looking ahead?
Worried. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really worried on Sunday and Monday, and then we went out Tuesday and had the best practice we've had probably of the year, and then followed it up with even better practice on Wednesday. And so, you know, I was at that point. I was felt a lot better. You know, just felt like our guys were handling it the way they were supposed to. I didn't get any, you know, sense that we were being silly or any of that kind of stuff. You know, and what happens sometimes if you're not accustomed to winning, you know, then, you know, all of a sudden you think you have the answers, you think you have it figured out, or you think we can relax and all that. And I didn't see any hint of that whatsoever on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I was really proud of our team, you know, for the way they handled it. Thought they were, you know, real professional in the way that they approached the preparation this week and getting ready for this game. And so, you know, by Friday I was pretty encouraged. You know, I thought we'd play well, and I was a little frustrated at the end of the first half, but, you know, I kind of had a sense of the way things might go in the second half, and you could see we were starting to wear them down a little bit. And, you know, I thought our offensive line continues to play better and better. You know, I thought they made a big jump this week. They have a good front. You know, and I thought we moved them off the ball well, and you know, I thought our backs ran hard, and so I was encouraged by our offensive line play for sure. And then I thought our defense played lights out.
Patrick, he had a couple of really big sacks. I mean, what do you kind of see from him right now? Pretty exciting.
Well, just confidence, you know what I'm saying? Just a lot of confidence and you know, playing fast, and that's kind of what he's good at. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that you know, just plays with kind of a reckless abandon, and you know, and I think we found a good spot for him. He doesn't have to read a whole lot of things. He just gets to react and be a football player, and that's what he's good at doing. And so I think our guys have done a good job getting him comfortable and getting him, you know, taught what to do, and he's going out and performing at a high level.
When it comes to TJ, I mean, I don't have to tell you that he was super productive in high school. Why do you think that, you know, that SMU ended up being the right place for him? And why do you think maybe he didn't sort of gather the sort of attention that maybe his production would make you think he deserved?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, I think, I mean, he was one of the better high school backs I've seen, just for that very same reason I talked about earlier. He just does everything the right way. You know, he reads blocks, he finishes, he's, you know, all the stuff that you want guys to do. He gets, you know, he gets his shoulders low in the hole. He's got great lift in his legs and knee drive, and he, you know, reads blocks remarkably well. And if you watched him at Southlake, I mean, he was very well coached. You know, he would just sit and wait for things to happen and just kind of, you know, be really patient. Not everybody has an ability to do that. And, you know, I mean, look, the guy trains as hard as anybody, you know, just he does everything right. I mean, he's, you know, tonight he's going to go home and, you know, and take his vitamins and go to bed early and wake up early tomorrow and probably have a workout before his workout tomorrow. You know, he's just one of those kind of kids. It's important to him, and you know, he's a good athlete. And I thought he had a heck of a ball game, and, you know, I think he's just getting started.
I mean, you guys put him on one of your billboards on the Dallas campaign. I mean, was it much of a choice or much of a thought process that, hey, we don't even know if this guy's going to play this year, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for him, look, South Lake Carroll has a great tradition of high school football, and they've won a ton of ball games. And, to be able to sign a player of TJ's stature from a program like that was important to our program. It just gives us credibility. And so, that's one of the reasons why we stuck him on the billboard. And, look, I think we all knew, at least we all thought he was going to be a good college football player. And, tonight was his first action. He had a good game, and, we'll see where we go from here.
You've coached young quarterbacks and old quarterbacks. What's the luxury of when you have a transfer? What's the luxury of having that experience? And how quick was he to pick up on your?
Yeah, I think the thing that I forget about at least is, you think of Shane as a veteran, which he is, but he's not a veteran to us. You know what I mean? I mean, he's played in 3 ball games for us. He didn't go through spring football. I just always. It just seems like he did. Just the way he came in and picked things up. And so, he's still learning, you know what I mean? He's still adjusting and learning and figuring things out. And it's a different, we're a different football team than Texas was. And we do things different and coach them different, have a different scheme. And our players are different. And all that takes time to get used to. And the competition's different. Some of the things that he sees is different. And so, he's still learning. He's still adjusting. He played at such a high level, I thought, last week. And probably didn't play as good today. I think he took a little bit of a step back tonight, but I think it was a great lesson for him, to learn just how to handle a game like that. And like I said, he's like me. I think he's really competitive. He's really driven. Same thing. I mean, look, if we don't, if you don't score 70 and you don't have 1,000 yards of offense, then it's not a good night. And that's good, but at the same time, you want to, the thing is to figure out how to win the game. Protect the ball, take care of the ball, win ugly, and that's what we talked about. Look, we were going to have to win the game, dirty and ugly, and have filthy 4 yards, and just grind it out. And so, it's a good lesson for him to how to do that and not to force things. And I think it's a confidence builder for everybody in our program.
Now, even with Shane not having the game that you're used to them having, how important was it for his receivers to kind of step up and make the plays for them, especially the one from Pro Shaq?
Yeah, that was a big catch for James. I mean, we just needed a little bit of a spark at that time of the game, and James, made a big play. Colin made a big play. Reggie got hot on that one drive, had a couple of big catches in that drive, and we needed to make some big plays because, like I said, we've been a big play football team up until tonight. And, we made some plays tonight on the ground, but it wasn't throwing the ball, and like I said, it probably wasn't as fun to watch maybe as we have been up to this point. But I think we had close to 650 yards, and we moved the ball pretty well, and scored enough points to win the game. So we just got to keep getting better, and sometimes you got to win games like this, and then other times you got to do it a different way.
You played Derek Green last week. What made you turn to Terrence Gibson tonight?
Well, we had a little package that we wanted to run with Terrence some, a little bit of some triple option stuff, with him. And we felt like same thing. He's performed pretty well in practice and thought he would have a chance to perform well in the game. And so, the great thing is now we can feature some guys because the 4-game redshirt thing, you know what I mean? And so, we didn't want to burn a game last week, just because we didn't feel like, it was going to be kind of garbage time. He's going to be handing the ball off. And tonight we had more of a package that, he could play and be productive and do some things that he's good at doing. And so, and he's a great change of pace guy because, when he pulls the ball down now, he's pretty electric. And so, it was encouraging to see that. And, the thing is, everybody's got to, Will's the backup quarterback right now. And we're trying to, same thing, kind of manage the 4-game thing where we can, take care of our guys and play them, the best way that we can play them.